Johnny Walker has just brutally KO'd Zhang Mingyang. But I am putting my money on Johnny Walker, that Johnny Walker is crafty enough. Johnny Walker is going to be able to use those leg kicks. He's going to be able to use his reach and jab. I think he can control the distance, and I think he cannot get in the pocket. I think he cannot get gritty and just piece up Zhang Mingyang from range.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
Brother, I feel like prime Leon Edwards. I told you guys this. Look at me now. I predicted this the other day on the YouTube channel just a couple of videos ago, and I got laughed at. I got mocked. I was told that I should delete the video. I was told that I was just trying to be different. I was called a knockoff bedtime MMA. And I have to say to those people who is laughing now, what is up, boys? Though we are back, and today we're going to be giving you guys my instant recap on this UFC fight night in China. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I pulled an all-nighter, man. I stayed up late to watch this fight, and I'm already up, so I might as well make a video about it. But Johnny Walker, in crazy fashion, has flatlined Zhang Mingyang. Maybe not flatlined, guys, but he was able to use the leg kicks. He was crafty, and that is exactly what I said Johnny Walker would be able to do. I said Johnny Walker is actually crafty. He's not a marauder like Zhang Mingyang. He's going to be able to use his distance. He's going to be able to use those long legs of his and chop down the legs of Zhang Mingyang, and that's exactly what he did. He chopped the legs all night of Zhang Mingyang. Zhang Mingyang wasn't checking anything, you know. You guys are all noticing how Johnny Walker was getting rocked now and then, you know, when he was getting his head pieced back. But I noticed that in every single exchange they had, Johnny Walker made sure to land that extra leg kick, and it added up, dude. This was not a fluke finish. This was not luck. This was skill. This was precision, and this was a great prediction by the MMA Outpost. We went 10-2 on this card overall. This was a generational card, man. One of the best cards I've had in a long time. To get this pick right, to get a huge underdog right. You guys don't know what this means to me, man. I'm so happy I picked Johnny Walker. I feel like a genius. I feel like I'm unstoppable right now, brother. I'm the best predictor on MMA YouTube, because all you guys, you're going with the rest of the people, man. You hear people saying Zhang Mingyang, bro, he's a marauder. He's gonna go in there and he's gonna chin Johnny Walker in the first round. And we all know the memes about Johnny Walker. We already know of that. You know, we know that the kid's chinny. We know that the kid gets knocked out by literally anything. A fly could knock this guy out. And I was thinking, well, Johnny Walker's taken a big year off. He has moved gyms. He moved to Extreme Couture, taking a whole year layoff. And I thought that Johnny Walker was going to come back and his chin was going to be in the best form it could possibly be in. I didn't say Johnny Walker was going to come back and his chin was going to be unstoppable. You weren't going to be able to rock this guy at all. But I said it would be in decent form. And it was in decent form, because Johnny Walker was getting some elbows on the side of the head. He was getting an overhand now and then. But his chin held up, you know, and that was something that I was kind of scared of heading in, you know. Maybe it doesn't hold up. Maybe Johnny Walker's chin is just officially cooked. When you have a broken chin, you have a broken chin. But I'd say after about 3 minutes of the first round, I realized that Zhang Mingyang can't hurt Johnny Walker with one punch. You know, if he knocks out Johnny Walker, it will be a flurry of punches, and it'll just be like a TKO finish volume. And I was right, man. He wasn't able to hurt Johnny Walker. Maybe in a couple exchanges he was able to hurt him, but Johnny Walker was never truly rocked. We never seen him on chicken legs. We never seen this guy about to go out with one more punch. No, he kept calm. He kept his distance. And going into that second round, I thought I had it in the bag, guys. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys I didn't think that. I knew going into that second round that Johnny Walker, all he has to do is maintain distance, and he has this fight in the bag. I will say, when the fight started, Johnny Walker shoots a double leg and he ends up on bottom. My world crumbled, brother. Everything that I just talked about in the last video for 11 minutes, I made a prediction on this main event. Everything I talked about it in the main event was just going to be completely untrue. I was going to look like an absolute clown. I was about to delete the YouTube video. I was about to like change the thumbnail or something, man. But Johnny Walker pulled through. He pulled through. He clutched up. And for that, Johnny Walker, I will always appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saving this night, brother. Because the main card, let me tell you about this main card, kid. This main card was generationally stinky. You know, the prelims, we'll talk about the prelims a little bit later in this video, but the prelims were great. Don't get me wrong. Prelims were some of the best prelims I've ever seen. And that's a fact, dude. The prelims were insane. But the main card, it was really bad. You know, we had this slop fest. You know, I have it on Brian Ortega because, Aljo, you went out there, you put on a good little scrap. You were piecing up Brian Ortega at range. You were using your jab, and you looked really good. Aljo just wanted to put on just a striking masterclass, and that's exactly what he did. I'm not saying Aljo is going to be a problem for the future 145ers. I don't think Aljo is much of a contender at 145, but still, Good props to Aljo. You actually made this a fight. What I do want to talk about is this man on screen, Brian Ortega. Just last week, we seen Brian battle cut from the UFC after missing weight. Then, about 3 days later, Brian Ortega weighs in 4 pounds over. 4 pounds over, by the way. He has missed weight several times in his UFC career, and this is just, it's a more of a recent thing, sure, but still, like, he missed weight against Diego Lopez. He got that fight canceled for the first time. Literally, International Fight Week, one of the biggest cards of the year. He pulled out the day of the fight, and it got rebooked, obviously. And then this fight came around. He missed weight by 4 pounds. Aljamain Sterling was already in China. I'm not racist, guys. Aljamain Sterling was already in China, so it was like, I'm just gonna take this fight, brother. I'll make weight. Aljamain Sterling took a risk. He went up at 153, pretty much lightweight. I don't even know why they didn't make this fight lightweight, brother. Like, why not, brother? Like, we're gonna make this at 153, brother. I'm saying, brother. But you guys know what I mean, man. I really don't know why Brian Ortega just went out there and looked this bad. You know, that's what I'm here to talk about today, man. I'm here to talk about why Brian Ortega, after missing weight, after doing all of that, after giving the UFC all those troubles, didn't go out there and try to put on a half-decent performance. A half-decent performance, guys. This guy threw 2 significant strikes in the first round. He landed on Aljamain Sterling twice in that first round. Aljo had already landed 20 times by the time this guy landed his second strike. He was a human punching bag out there. He was going in there throwing feints. He was just not doing anything, and it was just so pathetic. And it makes me wonder, guys, can he potentially be cut from the UFC? Because I think he should. I think it should be considered at least. Guys, Brian Ortega, he's not good anymore. He's never really been good, you know, and every big chance he's got, he's crumbled. He crumbled against Max Holloway. He crumbled against Alexander Volkanovski. And we're getting to a point where his age is getting up there. He's simply just not good anymore. Maybe this guy can pull a crafty little, like, triangle submission every now and then, but he's not going to be doing it against the top of the top 145ers. I don't think Brian Ortega is top 10 ready. I think Brian Ortega loses to all of the guys in the top 10 and some of the guys just in the top 15 through 10. Like, he is really bad. This was a really bad performance. And what is he going to do? He's going to go up to 155? Who is he going to face at 155? Is he going to face Justin Gaethje? Brother, 155 is killer's row. Like, you're gonna face Mauricio Ruffy. You're gonna get like flying knee, brother. You're gonna get spinning back kicked into oblivion. You go up to 155, you're cooked. The 155 is such a huge division. It has so much depth. 145. Don't get me wrong. The top of the division is great. We got guys like Volk, Masvidal, Aljo, Arnold Allen, Diego Lopez, Gene Silva. The top of the division is stacked, but when you get to the lower end of the 145 division, it's not that stacked. Brian Ortega, your place is at 145. You are a gatekeeper of the top 15 at 145 at this point in your career. That is how it goes. That's just the cycle of MMA, dude. You're not good. It was a really bad performance. It just made me mad because I was half asleep. You guys got to understand, when you're staying up until 3 a.m., when you're pulling an all-nighter, you expect something decent. I mean, everyone who watched this knows what I'm saying. Like, Brian Ortega went out there and popped a jab every 15 seconds. I don't know what the kid was doing, but it was just downright disrespectful to everyone who stood up to watch this fight this late. Moving on to the featured fight of the night, however, and I was talking about Brian Ortega being disrespectful. These blobs are very disrespectful to me, brother. When I stay up this late and I see these blobs jiggle at range for 2 minutes, and then randomly they have a 5-second exchange where they just swing, nothing happens, maybe a headbutt, and then they do it again. It's just jiggle at range, a little bit of a headbutt. Jiggle at range, a little bit of a headbutt. It is completely pathetic. This fight was so boring. Waldo Acosta-Cortez, I like you. You train out of Arizona. But the audacity to raise your hand like you won that fight after Sergey Pavlovich just went out there and just out-blobbed you. That's just a fact, dude. He out-blobbed you. I'm going to start using that terminology now. All he did was just land that one extra shot. You know, Sergey Pavlovich, I don't know what happened to the kid. The kid hasn't been staying since Aspinall. Aspinall ruined this guy. And this is a horrible fight, brother. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was just a pain to watch. And we were at a really bad point in the card, guys. We were at a really bad point in the card. The last prelim didn't deliver. The first 2 fights of the main card didn't deliver. Then we got this. Then we got the co-main event of the night. And it was looking really bad, man. It was looking like maybe UFC China wasn't going to deliver like we all thought it was just at the beginning of the night. Because the beginning of the night, well, let's talk about the beginning of the night now. Oh my gosh, Charles Johnson he did it again. Joshua Van 2.0, look how Lonar Kavanagh is laid out on the canvas, brother. Lonar Kavanagh went in there in that first round and looked like a world beater. He looked like he could be Demetrius Johnson prime, brother. This guy was the most precise technical striker. Even at the beginning of the second round, he was taking down Charles Johnson, someone who was like a foot taller than him, and just dropping him on his butt, then taking him up, letting him up again, and then taking him down again. And then all of a sudden, Charles Johnson flipped the switch. Then all of a sudden, this guy was letting a 1-2 combo now and then. Then all of a sudden, this guy would pop a jab overhand, and Lonar Kavanagh was kind of getting caught. I thought Lonar Kavanagh was on his way to winning the end of the second round. He was still winning the second round. But, Charles Johnson was finding his way back in it. And then all of a sudden, they exchange a little bit. Lonar Kavanagh backs up. But the kid, did he even try to put his guard up? He completely leaves his guard down. It looked like there's a screenshot of this somewhere. I should have put it in the video. His hands are literally by his waist. He didn't even try to put his guard down. Charles Johnson catches him with a great I think it was right hook, but just flatlines him out on the canvas, then smashes his face in, brother, with 2 vicious ground and pound shots, brother. And even Joshua Van didn't even get this treatment, dude. Joshua Van didn't get the ground and pound shots. This is a really bad KO. Lonar Kavanagh got absolutely chinned. This is bad. Like, people aren't realizing this. Like, his chin could seriously be affected in future years. But what a performance from Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, you are the man. You are just a crafty vet, even though he's not even that old. Charles Johnson needs to be someone we talk about in the 125 division. Lonar Kavanagh, I think you can be back. The chin might be a little bit of a problem in the future, but you're a legend, dude. You're that guy, apparently. Moving on to the final thing we're going to be talking about today. Again, another underdog pick I got right. Kyle Dawkins versus Michel Pereira. A lot of people were saying Michel Pereira was going to go in there and he was just going to be back. I don't know how many performances it's going to take for us to realize that Michel Pereira genuinely sucks now. I don't know how the kid was on an 8-fight winning streak, but he genuinely sucks. He was never that good. The guys he was beating on that 8-fight winning streak were bums, but he's not good. His last 2 fights against Abus Magomedov, like that fight against Abus Magomedov, didn't look like it was a pro MMA fight. It looked amateur, and that's all I needed to base it off of. I didn't go back. I didn't watch Kyle Dawkins' clips of him in another promotion because I saw how bad Michel Pereira looked. And Kyle Dawkins chinned him in the first round, and the card was off to a banger start. We had guys like Wrong Ju chinning, what's the guy's name, Weston Wilson. We had a very fun start to the card, and decent card we had here. Obviously, it slowed down towards the middle, but it picked up at the end. I like this card. Maybe it's better than a decent card, guys. I went 10-2, got 2 big underdog picks right. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this card. And that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'll see you guys in the next one. MMA Outpost out.